In almost every country on earth, you'll find the same strange picture. A politician takes office earning a modest government salary. A few years later, they own multiple houses, fleets of cars, properties in other countries. And when people ask how, the answer is rarely smart investing. It's rarely a side business. There's a much simpler word for it: corruption. Let's be clear about what that word actually means. Corruption is using a position of public trust for private gain. And it shows up in a few familiar shapes: bribery, kickbacks, embezzlement, and what experts politely call cronyism. Here's how it actually works, step by step. First, government contracts. A country needs a new highway, a hospital, a power plant. A company wants to build it. So that company quietly offers an official a commission, a cut, in exchange for winning the bid. That cut doesn't come out of the company's profit. It gets added to the price of the project. Which means the public ends up paying for the official's bribe, without ever knowing it happened. Second, public funds simply disappear. Money gets allocated for schools, roads, disaster relief, medical supplies. On paper, the project exists. In reality, the school is never built, the road is half finished, or it was never started at all. The money moves through a chain of shell companies, then into real estate or bank accounts on the other side of the world. Investigators call these ghost projects, because the only thing real about them is the money that vanished. Third, access itself becomes the product. Licenses, permits, government jobs, court rulings. In a system bent by corruption, these things stop being rights, and start being items for sale, to whoever can pay the most, or knows the right person. Now here's the scale of what we're talking about. The World Bank estimates that corruption costs the world more than $2.6 trillion every single year. That's over 5% of the entire planet's economic output, gone into private pockets, instead of public projects. About $1 trillion of that is paid out in bribes alone. And in the world's developing economies, Transparency International estimates that corrupt officials pocket up to $40 billion a year, money that was meant for hospitals, schools, and clean water. Every year, researchers score nearly 200 countries on how corrupt their public sector appears to be, on a scale from 0 to 100. This year, the global average dropped to just 42. Its lowest point in over a decade. In other words, by the numbers we have, the world isn't getting cleaner. It's getting worse. So why does it never really stop? Because the people with the power to investigate, prosecute, and reform the system, are very often the same people benefiting from it. Cases take years to build. Evidence gets buried in shell companies spread across multiple countries. And by the time anything is proven, if it ever is, the money has already been spent, hidden, or moved somewhere the law can't reach. So here's something worth remembering the next time you see a public official living a lifestyle that doesn't match their declared income. Don't just ask how they got so likable. Ask how they got so rich. Because in country after country, on every continent, that question has turned out to be the only one that actually matters. Subscribe to Unfiltered Reality, for the stories, and the numbers, the mainstream isn't talking about.